how the practitioners are making this beautiful difference and contributing towards educating our youth. Hi everyone, and I am super excited to have an extremely beautiful and a special guest with me here today at our podcast Unleash. And I have my beautiful guest. Her name is Lizel, and she is in the education sector in the UAE, originally from South Africa, and contributing this beautiful, the education and the insights that we are going to be getting from Lizel today will be fascinating. And let's dive deep. And Lizel, how are you today?
I'm very fine, thank you, and thank you for inviting me. It's such an honor being here.
I just loved because we met at the Gladiator event, and
That's
just
right.
wanted to have you on my podcast because there is this beautiful, like I have this soft side, sweet, because I was also in the education side, and how the practitioners are making this beautiful difference and contributing towards educating our youth. So tell me, how many years have you been in the industry and how is your experience going?
Well, I can probably write a book about all my experiences dealing with children. I've been teaching, I think, since I was 5 years old. I
Wow.
put up all my dolls in a row and I was teaching them, so I think teaching has always been a passion. And then I went to study and I got my degree, and I straight away went to this remote school in South Africa, started teaching there, and I've been through a couple of schools, big schools, city schools, remote schools, and everything was just an adventure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So because you are teaching the locals and the UAE Emirati, and you're in that environment, is English, do you speak in another language there, or is English part of the primary speaking language?
Yeah. Well, I'm not native English. I'm Afrikaans, which is similar to Dutch, but English is my second language. And when we came into the country, we had to do training for a week, how to deal with teaching a different culture, and things you should remember and things you shouldn't do, and be careful. And yes, it's a remote school, so the kids are not fluently English, struggle, they are Arabic, and we had to find very fast keywords to address them so you could get their attention, like a good morning or sit down in Arabic, and then you could try and use in the beginning sign language, to communicate to them, and it's getting better after 7 years. My Arabic vocabulary is slightly better than
I
it
am
was
sure.
when I entered the country.
Wow. So I want to know, like, how is it that the education curriculums and syllabus is more updated to equip the children with the necessary learnings of today's generation? Because I feel that there's a huge gap, in this and when we were in school. So how is it that the system is bringing in new concepts to the children for them to better adapt, like how everything is now AI, computers?
Yes. Well, school is not nearly what it was when we were at school. When I was at school, we were sitting passively, listening to the teacher, just do what I tell you to do. So the learning whole environment has changed. Even in the 7 years that I've been here, it's literally been changing every year. And currently they are focusing on problem solving and critical thinking, and I'm teaching little ones, but even with grade 2 and 3, we have to introduce them to think for themselves, and they can if you challenge them to think critically. They have lovely ideas. We have a problem of the week in each subject, each week.
Right.
So we are teaching them the skill of problem solving and critical thinking, which is so necessary in today's environment. And then AI, well, they don't have laptops and computers in school, except when we give them something. But also there we are slowly introducing them to do research, search for a simple word and the meaning, draw a picture when you've seen the meaning, and they work in groups So it's like we are moving into a direction of being more creative,
Right.
and we are expected to teach, to talk less in the classroom, and we actually the children should talk more,
Beautiful.
which I still struggle with. You know, I like talking, and we need to step back and let them do the talking, and even let them assess each other, you know, like peer assessment. So that's all, even for me, new skills that I had to learn to teach the children.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you want to make some new additional transition or changes in the teaching system, what would it be? Because I know there's always a room to, you know, to make that instrumental tweaks and change.
Well, I would focus on the reading, and I would also focus more on, we have quite a full curriculum, but I would focus on how to think creative, how to operate creative, because in today's life there's such a, you know, a demand on, you have to be the best, and if you think out of the box and you are creative, you can do anything.
Absolutely.
And you will always be able to provide for yourself being an entrepreneur. And I would also focus, if I'm now the curriculum writer, I would probably bring in things like how to be an entrepreneur, like a small business.
Yes.
Having a small business in school, starting to make money, how to deal with money, like maybe teach them financial skills.
Absolutely. I resonate so much with you here, because I think that these soft skills, which are so much needed at this time, are not really taught in schools. And me also coming from being closely linked to the education system, it's absolutely like it has to be introduced. If not now, then in the coming years, because also about dealing with children with some disabilities or difficulties. What is the proactive systems that the Institute is undertaking?
Well, the last 3 years, a new buzzword is well-being. So we are really focusing on making a positive classroom environment. The children should feel safe. And safety is quite the issue in the UAE. It's very important that the child doesn't feel threatened by the teacher.
Right.
No screaming, no loud talking. You should talk to them in a calm way, which is sometimes a challenge if they keep pressing your buttons.
Yes.
But to have to rather negotiate with the child, figure out why is the child upset. Maybe there's something bothering him or her, or something happened in the house. But well-being is a big thing, and we also have like days where we have games, so that they can just play and enjoy it, because they are still children.
Exactly.
And it's such a fast pace in the school, so sometimes we have well-being days and everybody enjoy it. The teachers enjoy it, the children enjoy it, but they are focusing on making a child feel also worthwhile. We should also focus on their self-esteem. For me, that's very important. I feel like a child maybe doesn't have to learn all the mathematical skills.
Yes.
But if I can send a child happily into the world, believing in him or herself, oh, that's the cornerstone, the foundation. If they believe in themselves, they can do anything. And you remember at the Gladiator Summit, the one lady mentioned the word impossible.
Yes.
And she said, it doesn't exist. It's I'm possible, not impossible. And I went to the school and I told it to my children. I said, that's now our new motto.
I love how this absolutely is so important for the children, because they are at such a beautiful cornerstone where they are exploring, they are developing, and their neurons are connecting, and the patterns of self-esteem, self-worth, and all of it is coming into place. And we play such a pivotal role as practitioners and education, teachers, to give them that sense of beauty, of believing in themselves. Another thing that brings me to a question is that, is it important for the institutions to have a good connection with the parents? Because
course.
most of the times where I think that a child can only learn at one point in the school, but what is taking place at home and how the parents feel that they're safe to share all of their issues of their child with the teacher, how important this is.
Well, now I have to remind you that I'm in a remote school, and in our school, very interesting, the whole school is one tribe. So there's like 1,100 students, and they're all connected. They all have one family name,
Wow.
which is part of the adventure of being here. But we have parent meetings. We have translators. Each teacher has a translator. So the parents can hardly speak English. Some of them can help themselves a little bit. There's one or two that's fluent in English. So the communication is a problem. So they ask a question in Arabic for the translator, and then we answer in English, and she translates. It's normally a young girl that's at university.
Wow.
So she translates back to the mother, and sometimes I'm really
Struggling,
laughing up my sleeve because the mother asks one sentence and I reply with one sentence, and then they talk for 10 minutes, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. But I do believe that the relationship between me as a teacher and the parent is extremely important, because especially since they are cycle 1, the parents trust me with their children, and I am having them with me for 7 hours each day.
Absolutely.
So I'm like their second mother. They should respect me, I should respect them. And if there's any problem, the mother should inform me so that I can deal with it.
Exactly, I know. And I know you personally, and you're such a loving, caring, and empathetic person who would want the best for every child, like it's their own. This is something completely unique about being in a school where all the children are from the same family. And it's beautiful because I feel they're already connected together.
Extremely. They're cousins, brothers,
Wow.
sisters. I mean, and they are huge families, typical Arabic. But we have so much fun. Yeah.
Do you think that can be a bit of a challenge for the children when they embark to higher schools in different settings, because they're so well knitted? Do you prepare them for those skills to engage with people from different cultures?
I find that the community is very close to each other, and you know, when it's holidays, they don't travel abroad. They stay in the area where I'm teaching. It's like they are family people. They go to the desert, they have picnics, they visit each other, they have weddings, they have parties, but the women separate, the men separate, but they are a very closely knitted community, and they are not bothered by, I mean, when the children go to Dubai, it's a big thing for them.
Yes.
They are not like the children in Dubai that's used to everything.
Exactly.
Our children, I mean, if we give them an award of a pencil or a small chocolate, it's a big thing for them. They are extremely happy about the award, so that's nice. They are not blasé, the little things still gives them joy.
I love that, because I think that this instills so much strong emotional relationship bonding, sense of that belongingness, and this is something so pivotal in the beginning years, because that just prepares you to be so grounded in terms of relationships, maintaining good friends, and it's on the contrary, the normal private schools in Dubai, we have like over 100 different nationalities under one roof, and that's where they learn about diversity. So diversity would be a bit of an issue, or the language.
Yes, we have different cultures in our school. We have teachers from everywhere in the world: South Africa, America, Ireland, Egypt, Jordan, India, even Nepal. And we do have periods where we show them a map of our country. I sometimes show them a video of the wild animals in South Africa.
Oh,
and then
everyone would love
they go
that.
crazy about the giraffes and the tigers and the elephants, and I tell them stories from my life, and they are literally like mesmerized by my stories. And I sometimes make them sit on the carpet and say, now it's your turn. Tell me, how do you celebrate Ramadan? How do you do eat? Tell me about something special that happened in your home. How do you celebrate a birthday? And they love sharing things with me.
Beautiful.
They love teaching me Arabic, and they are very patient with me when my pronunciation is, I struggle with the pronunciation. For example, the one day, the one boy told me, Miss, my camel went racing. He's 9 years old.
Oh.
And he was so proud. Miss, my camel won. And I was like, wow, you are so blessed. So they share their stories and their culture with me. And that's why I'm here, to learn about their culture. So, yeah.
Wow, they sound like these precious angels who are so,
Not always.
they're so, they're connected to you as their facilitator. And I think many times it is overlooked about the importance of putting so much stress on the education practitioners who are serving the community, to the children, because they're the ones who are going to be taking the reins of after us.
Yes.
And oftentimes not too much is invested. And do you think that there should be more development in the resources given to the education side?
Well, I think we might move into an era where small tablets might be handed out to all the children, which will be nice because then they will all be able to work together. Now they are fighting for the laptop because we have only one computer in the class which they take turns to use. So for sure that will be a good thing. And for them to learn leadership skills, we have some very strong children that from a young age they are able to stand up without being shy. Especially with these national celebrations, they would stand up and talk in front of the whole school. They can cite the Khuram, or they can say something or sing an Arabic song. I'm often watching them and I'm thinking they are so confident. I find that in my country, children of their age is not always this confident.
Not bold.
And I think that's part of being a big family. They feel safe in the community. So by the time they reach grade 7, 8, I feel like they are ready to go into the big world, standing on their feet.
Beautiful. Yeah. So coming back to your personal, personal love and passion for understanding the human self and the transformation, what are the key things that you have learned are so important for everyone our age to develop within ourselves to create that self-belief?
Well, I have learned over the years that you can never relax as a teacher. You can never think, I have arrived, I'm doing everything right. You literally have to think out of the box daily. What works today, let's say for a discipline in the class, might not work tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So you have to keep updated, you have to read for ideas, talk to your colleagues, what works with you. Maybe what works for my colleague doesn't work for me. So, and you have to keep the children's attention. Children lose interest fast, they get bored fast.
Yes.
So you have to, think on your feet, keeping them busy. So I've learned to be flexible.
Right.
I have learned to adapt to teaching a culture that I did not know 7 years ago. And I've also learned that when I'm happy and calm, it rubs off on my children.
Yes.
If I'm having a bad day, the children picks it up. So I have to be so careful, with how am I feeling. So the other thing that I should mention is a teacher should take care of him or herself.
Beautiful.
There's a lot of stress. So you need to make sure you sleep enough, you are fit, you are healthy, you are happy. Because a happy teacher leads to happy children.
And same in our families, we have to self-regulate ourselves and then be in that perfect position to create the beautiful atmosphere in the house. Yes. Because we are literally like the backbone. Yeah.
And the children, they watch us more than we realize. And I think that our actions speak louder than our words. Yes. They remember the way you did things. They don't always remember what you said.
Yes.
So And I've grown. I mean, when you are a young teacher, you still make mistakes. But when you grow older and you have more experience, you are calmer.
Yes.
You also have children of your own, which makes a difference in dealing with school children. So I sometimes, I love them, even though they are sometimes so naughty. I love them
Yes.
and treat them as my own children.
And I think that it's so important to remember that we still remember our teachers.
Yeah.
And children are so intuitive. These memories will last with them for a long time. I mean, I feel that we don't forget our teachers, no matter how old we get. So it puts an extra burden on us to make sure that they have these beautiful memories and how much of an impact that we can make in their future.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievably, I cannot stress more that this role is so important.
Yeah, unfortunately, teachers have a big impact on children, and we don't always realize what we deposit in them. So you have to be so careful what you say, the way you say, the way you act. You have literally to be aware. Have to be aware of that. And well, if it's a passion, it's easier.
Yes.
It's not just a job
Yes.
with the income and
Yes.
a salary. I like teaching children. I enjoy dealing with them. We all have our tough days, but in general,
Yes.
I cannot imagine
Absolutely.
not teaching.
I think that honestly, it is so important that we are completely passionate into this field because it's like, if you're a doctor, you need to be really passionate about it because it can get exhausting. It can be over stressing. So it's like you need to have it in your DNA, and you have to be so mindful about it all the time. It's not something you're dealing with adults, but these are beautiful children and beautiful minds that are, we are the building blocks for them. So what is the advice that you would like to give to the parents or people, and how to raise the younger ones, and what parenting techniques that are often neglected that they should stress on?
I think mutual respect between the teacher and the student, between the teacher and the parent, both ways, is extremely important because that influences the way you deal with each other. Trust. A parent needs to trust the teacher, which is important, and then skills. Some parents are very involved with the educational the years of their child. Some parents are not involved.
Exactly.
So I can definitely see a difference between the children whose parents are, motivating them, helping them, and then the children who has to do it by themselves. Another thing that I would like to stress is children should also learn to work independently.
Absolutely.
Many youngsters go home and the parents are doing the tasks and the homework and they get good score, but what happens when you go to cycle 2 and 3? Then you can't do it on your own. So parents need to teach their children to work independently with help when they are young. That's also important. And then to dream, to keep on dreaming.
Beautiful.
To keep on reaching for the sky. If children know their career which they would like to follow, start reading about it, start thinking about it. And the school is like the training area for them to get ready for the big world.
Wow, and we're giving them the ammunition to be fully equipped and to make the best of their journey ahead. Also, tell me about how have you changed personally, being in the education side, dealing with children from a different culture, and how are you different as a person, and how has it helped you evolve better?
Well, I'm a very passionate person. I get very excited, and sometimes children doesn't understand that. They think you are angry if you are excited.
Right.
So I have learned to calm down, to say things in a more gentle way. I've also learned to do things slower. If you are fast, you lose the children. So you need to be calm. That's the one thing that I've learned, to be calmer, to be more gentle with the children. And that happened after I got my own children. To see them as my own. I understood them better because I've raised children.
Yes.
And then also I think I became more creative. I used to be absolutely a control freak. Things need to happen on time,
Organized.
It doesn't work like that anymore. You need to be flexible. You need to be able to change your strategy literally from week to week, from day to day, sometimes from hour to hour, because you have different classes, your children differ. And in the beginning it was frightening for me, and now it's not so frightening. It's like I enjoy it.
Exactly.
Thinking out of the box. And then I think online teaching have just thrown us into the deep side, and we just had to swim.
Mm-hmm.
And that have also taught us a lot of skills, changing,
Mm-hmm.
on literally minute by minute, changing your style,
Exactly.
changing the angle from which you are teaching. Yeah,
I
so
know.
it has been an honor teaching in the UAE, and I think in the last 7 years I've learned more than 20 years in South Africa.
Amazing. And what you have told us about how you have changed as a person also applies individually in our life, how we need to slow down. We need to be adapting to the changes that are happening so fast, and dealing with everyone in a slower pace, because usually if our minds are running fast, doesn't mean that the receiver is on the same frequency.
Exactly.
And also ending our podcast on how much do you think the positive energy and the frequency and your possession for pure love for yourself and others, how does it help you in the real world?
Well, I believe in investing in myself. Otherwise you become like a cup and you just run dry. Because we are giving, and we are giving every day. So that's why I do conferences like Lizel Stemmet to make my cup full again, to learn new skills. And what I do, because in South Africa I taught older children, I would sometimes tell them, we're not going to teach today. Today is going to be a me time day. I'm going to share with you things and skills for life.
Beautiful.
And I would make them sit in a circle. We would even sit outside, and I would share with them skills to prepare them for life. For example, the one thing that I often tell my children is the impact of your words have so much power. So be careful what you say. Don't say,
Yes.
I cannot do that, or I'm going to struggle. Tell yourself, I can do this.
Exactly.
It might take me a while, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to show myself and my friends and my parents and everybody. And then sometimes the children come back to you and they say, Miss, I did it.
Yes.
And they are so proud. So that's a skill that I always bring in with my teaching. Believe in yourself, but never tell yourself anything is impossible, because it's not true.
I am just like, my cup is being full just listening to your beautiful words. And I want to add something really interesting. When I came across that there was an experiment and a research done, if you have 2 cups of water, in one cup you just say beautiful, gorgeous, outstanding, and then you observe it under the microphone, the molecules make a beautiful flower.
Wow.
And on the other side, if you just talk about mean or angry and you use these words to the water of the other glass, and if you observe the molecule formation under the microscope, it's going to be all like it will have no symmetry, it will be very weird, it will be like no prominent shape, no beautiful design. So it's the power of these words.
I firmly believe in
the
that.
power of the words that can bring about, because you are telling your mind those beautiful teachings, and it will accept it and it will radiate in the same way. Yes. Anything in the end you would like to share with the listeners to induce in themselves for 2025?
Well, take care of the children. Children is the future of the world. They are gems. Sometimes a child will try to, press your buttons or try to find boundaries. But a child that feels safe, wow, you can go further than the moon with that child. If you get a child that feels safe and confident, and we should take care of our children. They are different, and we have to accept them the way they are, take their hand, and walk with them into the future.
Thank you for this beautiful session. I absolutely learned so much words of wisdom, and I think you are an absolute book of these beautiful learnings that you have gained over the course of years of you being in the education side. And I hope to have you on another episode where we're going to have some more in-depth questions. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Lizel, for being here with us and sharing such beautiful insights to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was so lovely being here. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.